Thank you for joining me at the Umar Talks. If you wish to catch up on my previous topics, please visit Apple Podcasts at the Umar Talks, WordPress blog, theumartalks.org, and my Instagram page at the Umar Talks. If you're joining me for the first time, please know that each time I refer to God, I mean Yahweh, as this is the name God asked that he be called. In our day-to-day living, we look to enjoy life through relationships, family, school, work, and all social relationships. Many people will say that love has failed them at one time or the other. And what this means is that relationships have not worked out as planned or expected. The young stand alone, and the old also stand alone. Both the young and old are casualties of broken relationships. There is increasing number of mental health and suicide even amongst groups that were previously unheard of. Today, I've chosen to write a letter to my beloved ministers of God and pastors of churches. My letter is not a criticism of pastoral care, but it is to raise greater awareness among the leaders in the church about the urgency to reform to meet the ever-changing challenges faced by the modern man. Dear ministers of God and pastors of churches, I was preparing one of my lessons and I was bugged by this question. How is it possible that a person can be a member of a congregation of around 1,000 to 10,000 people with common interest and be without a job, financially helpless and clueless, old and lonely, young, lonely, and suicidal, struggling with their faith as a Christian, single, not out of personal choice? I thought to myself that it was illogical and near impossible to have such needs, as there must be strength and benefits in numbers. So, what could be the reason for the growing unresolved needs in the house of God? The old church put systems in place to support its members. They enforced trust among members and established a sharing system that suited the time. In Acts chapter 4, verse 34, we are told, there was not a needy person amongst them. For as many as were owners of lands or houses sold them and brought the proceeds of what was sold. Trust among members was so important that Ananias and Sapphira were made examples of. Gossips were equally dealt with. As you may or may not know, the number of people declaring themselves as Christians have been on the decline. There is so much we can attribute to the devil if the needs of the congregations remain overlooked. Healing has to start from within the church. The church is one of the most powerful organizations in the world, but it appears the current system is not working as it should. How can a child with rich parents be in rags? I do believe in my heart that you are all well positioned to do something meaningful about the increase in lack in God's house. I applaud the outreach and community programs undertaken by churches in their neighborhoods, and not to forget the charitable works carried out in different countries around the world. But what type of man leaves his burning house to go and tend to another's? Let healing begin and flow in the house. The changes has to be direct and workable. Maybe start by rearranging what happens on a Sunday service. Build trust and friendship. The church cannot give love to the world if it is found wanting. Let's heal the church. Church members who read this letter, are you willing to work with your leaders? Remember, Jesus Christ always healed the sick after he got their consent. Meet the needs in the house directly. If you as a church member can protect yourself whilst interacting or engaging with people outside of the church, why not do so with people in the church so you can meet needs directly? I thank you for listening or for reading this letter, and I love you with the love of God. Bye-bye.